certainly we'd like to do that. So this morning, welcome to the directors, our staff that are here, the media, and I thank you all for keeping your physical distance. I just wanted to note that Parliament of Canada finally held its first virtual meeting this week. I know most of the councils and we as a board have met, and we were 26 days ahead of our federal government in moving ahead with our democracy, so thanks to everybody on that. We'll take roll call, so I'll turn it over to Manager Moskal, and we'll do roll call and then get on to our agenda.
Thank you, Chair Gay. I will read each director's name off. If you could just wave if you're showing your video, or just call out that you're here, that would be great. So starting off, Director Klobuchar.
Here.
Thank you. Director Doyle.
Here.
Director Gay is here. Director Graham.
Here.
Director McCormick.
Here.
Director McCarricker.
Here.
Director Miller.
Here.
Director Pratt.
Here.
Director Quilica.
Here.
Director Reinhardt.
Here.
Director Sturzer.
Here.
Director Sosnowski.
Here.
Director Walter is here. Director Wilkie. Director Wilkie, are you here? I don't see Director Wilkie on my list.
Yes,
Sorry,
I'm here.
there you are.
I'm here. I just unmuted.
Thank you, Director Wilkie. Director Wilkes?
Here.
And with us today also is Manager Tomlin, Manager Ronquist, Manager McLeod, Manager Duchek, myself, Manager Moskal, Connie Tom, and Tina Halushak.
Great, thank you very much. And so, so this morning, directors, as I mentioned, we'll run for about an hour. We'll take a break and then finish up. Appreciating your director's report, some feedback. I did overhear some chatter about, you know, did you like the voting the way we did it? And of course, some like it and some don't. And some other efficiencies we can do with our meetings where we're learning. So, you know, feedback is good. So maybe in your director's report, or if you want, send me an email as well. We will start on our director's report on the order alphabetical. So it'll be Director Klobuchar, Director Doyle, and Director Graham, and then we'll go through on that. And as we all know, we have hospital this morning, so we'll try to wrap up at least by 11 o'clock if possible. So, directors, are there any late agenda items this morning? Okay, hearing none.
That the agenda for the RDK Board of Directors meeting be adopted.
Let's see, we'll get a mover, Director McCarricker, Director Reinhardt seconds. Any discussion? Is anybody opposed? Hearing and seeing none, the motion is carried.
Item 4.1, that the minutes of the RDK Board of Directors meeting held on April 3rd be adopted as circulated.
So moved.
Director Miller, Director Sosnowski seconds. Discussion. Anybody opposed? Hearing and seeing none, motion is carried.
And we have no invited presentations or delegations today, so moving to Section 6, correspondence.
Quite a list of correspondence, directors. Anything catch your eye? Go ahead.
All the way down at the bottom at 6.10, I asked Joe Carpetas on my APC, and I asked him if they'd accumulated this list yet. And so he sent it through and to Lorene, and I put it as an information item. Just statistics and interesting to read if you haven't had to read that.
Yeah, thank you very much. I may just mention 6.7, BC Hydro, summary of their operations, just to remind everybody that there is a meeting, a virtual meeting, I think on the 13th. I can get the correct date if you haven't been invited. You're certainly welcome. And that Hydro will update us. That particular report talks about all the different pondages behind all the various dams, but you know, certainly they also talk about Kukanusa, and they'll tell us more about it on that meeting. Okay, anything else in correspondence?
Yes,
Gary, go ahead.
Chair, I had a question about 6.8 BC Transit update. Question for Manager Mescal, it would appear from my reading of the letter that any changes are going to be put off for at least a year. Is that correct?
Are you referring to expansions, Director?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily. BC Transit has postponed any expansions that they were planning for 2020 to next year, so those are definitely postponed. Any new expansions, so for example, if a local government requests an expansion for 2021, it may or may not be pushed back to 2022. BC Transit hasn't made any determination on that yet.
Okay. Yeah, I was just thinking of that informing because we will be having a Columbia Valley meeting shortly, right?
Yes, we're trying to schedule one.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, before we leave correspondence, anybody, anything else? Okay, we'll move on.
Okay, we're moving now to Section 9, Committee Recommendations, Electoral Area Services Committee. First item is 9.1.1. This is a weighted vote of the electoral area directors. Moved by Director Gay, seconded by Director Kozchak, that the following discretionary grant and aid be approved. The Friends of Fort Steele Society Wildfire, Forest Health and Wildfire Assessment, Area C, $5,000.
Further discussion? Okay, all those in favor? I guess we're going to go to vote.
Yep, vote is opening right now. And the vote is closed. All directors have voted in favor. The vote is 9 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion is carried. Item 9.1.2. Moved by Director Doyle, seconded by Director Gay, that the Waldo Cove Regional Park Management Plan be adopted.
Further discussion? We'll go to vote.
Just one moment. I need to close a speakers list that was open. Okay, so opening the vote right now. Vote will be closing in 1 moment. Vote is closed. Director Doyle, I don't have your vote registered.
Yeah, it didn't come up on mine, so I'm in favor.
Thank you. And Director Graham, I didn't receive your vote either. Director Graham, are you there?
No. Yeah, you should have it. I clicked yes.
Oh, thank you very much. So the votes are in. The vote is 15 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion's carried. Item 9.1.3. Moved by Director Wilkie, seconded by Director Kozchak, that the Chair and CIO be authorized to sign an amendment to the agreement with the Akiskanick First Nation for the provision of RDK services to non-First Nation leased land interests in the reserve to include dog control services.
Is there any further discussion?
Rob.
All right, let's go.
Rob, I'd like to make if I could, a comment on the last item. I wasn't fast enough on my button. The Waldo Cove Regional Park, I want to congratulate Director Doyle. I was there when the Friends of the Kugunusa first come to see if they could legitimize the boat launch they had, the little boat launch, and I know lots of the fellas, and to bring it all the way to a management plan. Director Doyle, congratulations.
Thank you, Director Stanowski.
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen. Yeah. Okay, back to the Indian Beach dog control. We ready to go to vote if there's no further discussion? Okay, we'll go to vote.
Okay, vote is opening. Vote is closing. Director Doyle, looks like the system didn't register your vote again.
Yeah,
Can
it
you
didn't
just tell me
come in.
verbally?
I'm in favor, so
Thank
I
you
don't
very
know
much.
what's going.
All right, so the vote is carried, 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Next item is 9.1.4. Moved by Director Wilkie, seconded by Director Kloschak, that bylaw 2993, Spur Valley Water System Regulation and Fee Amendment Bylaw Number 2 be introduced.
Further discussion? Hearing none, let's go to vote.
The vote is opening. And the vote is closed. 15 votes in favor, 0 opposed. The motion is carried. Item 9.1.5. Moved by Director Doyle, seconded by Director Gay, that bylaw 2994, Elko Community Water System Regulation and Fee Amendment Bylaw Number 6 be introduced.
Further discussion? Hearing none, let's go to vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed. 15 votes in favor, 0 opposed. Motion is carried. Moving now to Elk Valley Services Committee recommendations, item 9.2.1. This is a weighted vote of the directors from the Elk Valley and Area B. Moved by Director Sosnowski, seconded by Director Kalisa, that the CAO be authorized to sign the funding agreement with the province of BC for the Elk Valley Victim Assistance Program for the term April 1st to March 31st, 2021.
Further discussion? Okay, we'll go to vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed. We have, this is a weighted vote. We have 8 votes in favor, 0 opposed. Motion is carried. Next item is 9.2.2. This is a weighted vote of the Elk Valley directors. Moved by Director Sosnowski, seconded by Director McCarricker, that an expansion of the Elk Valley transit system not be pursued at this time.
Further discussion? Hearing no discussion, we'll go to vote.
The vote is open. Oh, just a moment. Now the vote is open. The vote is closed. This is a weighted vote. We have 4 votes in favor, 3 votes opposed. The motion carries. Next item or section is the Governance and Regional Services Committee recommendations, item 9.3.1. Moved by Director Gay, seconded by Director Walter, that the request from the Bull River Barbecue Rancher Society to reallocate a portion of the 2019-2020 Columbia Basin Trust Affected Areas Program grant to purchase additional supplies and training aids for the riding arena be approved.
Further discussion? Let's go to vote.
The vote is open. The vote will be closing in just a moment. The vote is closed. I have 2 directors the system did not register for. Director McCormick, what was your vote? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. You're muted.
You're on mute, Don. You're just,
Yes.
there you go.
Sorry about that.
You're in favor?
Yes.
Oh, and I actually got the other director. Thank you very much. Vote is now officially closed. And the results are 15 in favor, 0 opposed, motion carries. Item 9.3.2. Moved by Director Miller, seconded by Director Wilkes, that the 2019 Regional District of East Kootenay financial statements and statement of financial information be approved.
Further discussion? Hearing none, let's go to vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed. We have 15 votes in favor, 0 opposed. The motion is carried. Item 9.3.3. Moved by Director Walter, seconded by Director McCarricker, that the RDK financial statements for the period of January to March 2020 be accepted.
Any discussion? Let's go to vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed. 15 votes in favor, 0 opposed, motion is carried. Next item is 9.3.4. Moved by Director Sturzer, seconded by Director Kloschap, that a Community Emergency Preparedness Fund joint grant application for $100,000 be submitted for training and the purchase of necessary equipment and supplies to support Regional Emergency Support Services teams with the Regional District of East Kootenay to provide overall grant administration.
Any discussion? We'll go to vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed. We have 15 votes in favor, 0 opposed. The motion carries. Next item is 9.3.5. Moved by Director Sturzer, seconded by Director Wilkes, that the check register for the RDK general account for April 2020 in the amount of $2,403,627.72 be approved as paid.
Any other checks people want in for Ron? None heard, let's go to vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is now closed. 15 votes in favor, 0 opposed, motion is carried. Next item is 9.3.6. Moved by Director Kloschap, seconded by Director Wilkie, that a letter of support be provided to Wings Over the Rockies for their application to the Canadian Museum of Nature's Inspiration Awards.
Any discussion? None heard, let's go to vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed. 15 votes are in favor, 0 opposed, motion carries. Next item is 9.3.7. This is a weighted vote of the central directors. Moved by Director Walter, seconded by Director McCormick, that the proposal provided by JFL Environmental Inc. for the operation of the Cranbrook and Kimberley transfer stations be accepted and the chair and CAO be authorized to sign a contract with JFL Environmental Inc. for a 5-year term at a rate of $683,096 per year.
Any discussion? Okay, let's go to vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed. This is a weighted vote. 17 votes are in favor, 0 opposed, motion carries.
Thank you. And directors, I'm not sure if you're all familiar with, I'm familiar with the Cranbrook and Kimberley transfer stations more than the other ones in the Elk and Columbia Valley, but the the contractor that does that work there, GFL, and before that Southeast, maybe Manager Patterson, if you could pass on my thanks to them. The staff on both those places are so courteous. They do such a good job for the public. They haven't wavered during COVID. The places are open. They're doing their best. So I really, I'm very pleased that they were able to get this contract again, because they do such a nice job for us. So if you could pass that on, I'd appreciate that. Okay.
Next item is 9.3.8. Moved by Director Sturzer, seconded by Director Miller, that the low lift, high lift, raw water pump station standby power contract be awarded to Martech Electrical System Limited.
Further discussion? All in favor? Oh, we'll go to vote. I could get that out of my system.
The vote is open. The vote is now closed. 15 votes in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Item 9.3.9. Moved by Director Reinhardt, seconded by Director Walter, that the proposal provided by Sperling Hansen Associates for groundwater monitoring be accepted, and the Chair and CIO be authorized to sign a contract with Sperling Hansen Associates for a 5-year term at a rate of $449,070.
Any discussion? Okay, we'll go to vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is now closed. Just a moment, something looks weird there. One moment, let me check the numbers. We're only registering 14 votes, so somebody's missed on this list. Was there anybody that was in opposition? Director McCarricker, did you not receive a vote?
No, I did not.
Okay, are you in favor?
Yes.
Thank
Although
you.
it's very expensive.
Just one moment, I need to fix this. Okay, thank you. The vote is carried. All in favor. We're going to move now to Planning and Development Services Committee. First item is 9.4.1. Moved by Director Doyle, seconded by Director Miller, that a letter be sent to the Minister of Agriculture and the Deputy Minister of Agriculture requesting that the requirement for owner consent prior to land being excluded from the Agricultural Land Reserve be reinstated in the Agricultural Land Commission Act.
Discussion.
I'd like to have a little more discussion. I wonder, there was so much in these new changes that is not right. Part of the thing is Director Klovchuk talked about, but still, when people ask for a reaffirmation or not last time, and the fundamental change was they never took into account financing, and so I'm just wondering, this is going ahead anyways, is delay this, and I'd like to maybe have a little better letter written by Manager McLeod and have Director Doyle and Klovchuk and myself and McCormick, anybody who wants a kick at this letter, to make it a little better than just a one problem, because there's more problems. I like Director McCormick's ideas. Ask the minister and the deputy minister, and if we're getting value for money out of that outfit. So I don't know. There's always being nice to them. They're just doing what they do. So I would like to ask for a deferment while we prepare a better letter for next month, if possible.
Yes, it's possible. I've got Director Doyle, and then I'm going to look for a seconder for your deferment. So Director Doyle?
I'll second that, but just a comment. Last time the minister come out to Cranbrook and the chair of the Agricultural Land Commission, Jennifer Dyson, I thought, we got results out of that. They listened, and maybe they should be standing in front of us again, and we ask those questions. It's a lot better in a letter when they're in front of the board and what are you guys doing? And the same questions we got here. So that's a suggestion. We can hold this, put our ideas down and pen there, but face to face is you get a lot more results.
Yeah, and that maybe make good sense for the deferment, and that may be part of your discussion. So any further discussion on deferring this letter? Okay, we'll go to vote on the deferment. Do you have a motion? Oh, excuse me, Director Wilkes, go ahead.
Yeah, just to take note of the letter from the ministry dated March 18th, 2020, that there were 2 phases to this bill, and the first phase was enacted on March 12th, 2020 under the Agricultural Land Commission Amendment Act 2019. So if you want to complain about that portion of it, these amendments enhance the effective efficiency of the ALC's decision-making by strengthening its governance and independence by providing greater flexibility in how the ALC structures decision-making panels to local and regional needs. You're too late. So you can only really argue on phase 2, which doesn't come into force until September 30th, 2020. So maybe focus on those if you're going to defer this. No sense barking up a tree that's already been planted.
Very, very good points, Director. And I did mention that when we did our agenda review, that, what would our policy be? Because if you read that Bill 15, there's an opportunity for us to decide how we want to deal with the local landowners, and something that we can work on. So back to the deferment, further discussion? Yes.
Excuse me, Chair, who was the seconder of that?
Director Doyle, Director Sosnowski moved, Director Doyle second.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I think we're ready to go to vote if you're okay.
Yep, just one moment while the system thinks. Okay, I'm opening the vote.
Chair, I have a comment.
Oh, go ahead before we vote.
Yeah, I guess I was on mute. Yeah, so it's my understanding that this consortium that will be dealing with the letter, that will be on our agenda for the next meeting. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right. It's being deferred. We didn't put a date, but I'm assuming the next meeting, the next time a group can get together, and there's the opportunity for input, during the development phase, as well as that letter will come back to this board for review.
Chair?
Further?
Further, I would like we'll send an email. If Andrew could send an email out to start the interest in this letter, and maybe list the letter, then everybody can reply, and we'll start working on this letter so it's ready for next month.
Yes, good idea. Okay. All right, I think the vote is up. Is there no further discussion? We'll go to vote. Hearing no further discussion. Yeah, the vote's there.
And the vote is now closed. 15 votes in favor, 0 opposed. The motion carries.
Manager Moskal, who was opposed?
No, nobody was opposed, 0.
Oh, I thought you said 2. Okay, sorry.
No, 15 to 0 on that one.
Next item is 9.4.2. Moved by Director Sturzer, seconded by Director Doyle. That development variance permit number 4219, Baines Lake, MacArthur, be granted.
Further discussion? Okay, let's go to vote.
Vote is open. The vote is closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed, motion is carried. Next item is 9.4.3. Moved by Director Sosnovsky, seconded by Director McCormick, that bylaw number 2985, Electoral Area E Zoning and Floodplain Management Amendment Bylaw number 26, Meadowbrook, Seafried, be introduced.
Further discussion? Okay, we'll go to vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed, motion carries. Next item is 9.4.4. Moved by Director Wilkie, seconded by Director McCarricker, the bylaw 2986, Steamboat Jubilee Mountain Official Community Plan Amendment Bylaw number 14, Edgewater Loutrip, be introduced.
Further discussion? Okay, let's go to vote.
The vote is open. Closing the vote, Director McCormick, the system didn't register your vote. Are you in favor or opposed?
Go.
Sorry, Director McCormick, you're muted at the moment.
Mute again. Director McCormick, you're still on mute? No, he's not hearing us.
How about thumbs up, thumbs down?
Okay,
Perfect.
thanks.
Oh, never mind, the vote came in finally.
We got it.
It was delayed on us, sorry about that. Okay, so the vote is 15 in favor, 0 opposed, the motion carries.
Yeah, sorry about that. It was churning. It just said vote is opening and it just kept churning and then finally opened. Sorry.
Thank you.
We all work through our gremlins, these technology.
Yeah.
So we're working on item 9.4.4 still. We have one more item on this one. Moved by Director Klovchuk, seconded by Director Miller, the bylaw 2987, Upper Columbia Valley Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 360, Edgewater Loutrip, be introduced.
Discussion. Okay, we're ready to go to the vote.
And the vote is open. The vote is now closed. We have 15 votes in favor, 0 opposed. Motion is carried. Item 9.4.5. Moved by Director Klovchuk, seconded by Director Miller. The bylaw 2988, Upper Columbia Valley Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 361, Windermere North Prairie Wind Development Corp. be introduced.
Further discussion. Okay, we'll go to vote.
The vote is open. Vote is now closed. We have 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion is carried. Next item is 9.4.6. Moved by Director Klovchuk, seconded by Director Sturzer, the bylaw 2989, Fairmont Hot Springs and Columbia Lake Area Official Community Plan, Amendment Bylaw 6, Fairmont Martin, be introduced.
Discussion. Okay, let's go to vote.
Vote is open. System is seeming to have a delay with Director McCormick again. Director McCormick, are you in favor or opposed?
Yeah, okay, thumbs up. He's in favor.
Thank you. So the vote is closed. We have 15 in favor, 0 opposed.
Yeah, it says, please wait while system loads.
Oh, okay. We'll just maybe, I'll look for your hand contact, Director McCormick, if it's going to continue that way.
Sounds good.
Thanks. Okay.
So same item continued, moved by Director Sturzer, seconded by Director Sosnowski, that bylaw 2990, Upper Columbia Valley zoning amendment bylaw 362, Fairmont Martin be introduced.
Further discussion? Okay, let's go to vote.
And the vote is open. Votes are all in. It's now closed. 15 votes are in favor, 0 opposed. Motion is carried. And the next item is 9.4.7. Moved by Director Sturzer, seconded by Director Doyle, that the Agricultural Land Commission be advised the RDEK supports the Ministry of Forests, Lands, Natural Resource Operations and Rural Development and LEAPR ALR non-farm use application for properties located on Kickaman Newgate Road, west of Lake Koocanusa.
Any discussion? Okay, let's go to vote.
Vote is open. All the votes are in. Vote is now closed. 15 are in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next item is 9.4.8. Moved by Director Gay, seconded by Director Sturzer, that development variance permit number 320, Moyer Rogers, be granted.
Discussion. Let's go to vote.
The vote is open. The votes are in. It's now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion carries. Next item is 9.4.9. Moved by Director Gay, seconded by Director Walter, that development variance permit number 420, Wycliffe Stewart, be granted.
Discussion. We'll go to vote.
The vote is open. All the votes are in. Vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next item is 9.4.10. Moved by Director Sosnowski, seconded by Director Doyle, that development variance permit number 520, Fernie Alpine Resort, Towsley and Demi be granted.
Discussion. Okay, we'll go to vote.
The vote is open. The votes are all in. It's now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next item is 9.4.11. Moved by Director Sosnowski, seconded by Director Doyle, that development variance permit number 620, Fernie Alpine Resort, A3 Holdings Limited, be granted.
Discussion. Okay, let's vote.
Vote is open. All the votes are in. It's now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next item is 9.4.12. Moved by Director Klovchuk, seconded by Director Miller, that development variance permit number 720, Fairmont McGillis, be granted.
Discussion. Okay, we'll go vote.
And the vote is open. Vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion is carried. Next item is 9.4.13. Moved by Director Sturzer, seconded by Director Wilkes, that the Ministry of Forests, Lands, Natural Resource Operations, and Rural Development be advised the RDK supports the Trans Rockies Inc. Crown Land Temporary License of Occupation for a special event bike race in the Fernie and Kimberley area.
Discussion. Okay, voting.
The vote is open. The vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion carries. Next item is 9.4.14. Moved by Director Walter, seconded by Director Sturzer, that the Ministry of Forests, Lands, Natural Resource Operations, and Rural Development be advised that the RDK supports the BC Hydro Crown Land application for a utility power line in the Claricoats Road area in Meadowbrook.
Discussion. Okay, let's vote.
Vote is open. And the vote is closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion carries. Next item is 9.4.15. Moved by Director Walter, seconded by Director Gay, that the Ministry of Forests, Lands, Natural Resource Operations, and Rural Development be advised that the RDK supports the Greenwood Crown Land Section 80 application for a roadway in the Meadowbrook area.
Is there any discussion? Going to voting.
The vote is open. And the vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next item is 9.4.16. Moved by Director Walter, seconded by Director Gay, that the Ministry of Forests, Lands, Natural Resource Operations, and Rural Development be advised that the RDK supports the Sinister Sports Crown Land application for a special event license for an annual trail running race in the Kimberley area.
Discussion. Going to vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion carries. Item 9.4.17. Moved by Director Klovchuk, seconded by Director Wilkes, that the Ministry of Forests, Lands, Natural Resource Operations, and Rural Development be advised that the RDK does not support the Global Riding Adventures Crown Land application for a special event license for an annual mountain bike race in the Panorama area.
Any discussion? Okay, we'll vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is now closed. We have 10 votes in favor, 5 opposed. The motion carries. Directors opposed are Director Doyle, Director McCormick, Director Pratt, Director Kulitsa, and Director Walter. Next item is 9.4.18. Moved by Director Gay, seconded by Director Doyle, that a UBCM Housing Needs Reports Program grant application for $95,000 be submitted for preparation of a housing needs report for electoral areas A, B, C, E, F, and G, and further that the RDK will provide grant administration if the application is successful.
Any discussion? Okay, let's vote.
The vote is open. Is the system hanging for you, Director Kulitsa?
You're on mute,
Yes.
Director Kalitza?
Sorry, I don't
There you
know
go.
what happened. It's not giving me any availability to even move right now. Everything's frozen. I'm gonna actually have to log back into the eScribe system.
Not a problem. What's your vote for this one, Director Kulitsa?
Positive.
Great, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. So the vote is closed. We have 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries.
And Director Kalitza, I can watch if it's a thumbs up if it's easy, if you can't get your system back as we move forward.
Thank you.
Chair, did we want to continue?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're now on section 10 bylaws.
So I'll be looking for movers or seconders. For most of you, I can see if you just want to put your hand up, that'll work. For those that I can't see, you can also speak up. So we'll make this happen. All right.
First item is item 10.1. The bylaw number 2993, Spur Valley Water System Regulation and Fee Amendment Bylaw number 2, be read a first, second, and third time.
Okay, mover and seconder, please. Director Sturzer moves, Director Sosnowski seconds. Discussion? Okay, let's go to vote.
And the vote is open.
I didn't get one this time.
You didn't get one? But,
I'll vote in favor.
okay, so Director Gay voted in favor. All votes are in. It's now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Same item continued. The bylaw 2993, Spur Valley Water System Regulation and Fee Amendment Bylaw number 2 be adopted.
Okay, moved by Director Miller, second, Director Reinhardt. Discussion. Let's go to vote.
And the vote is open. And all the votes are in. Vote is closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next item is 10.2. That bylaw 2994, Elko Community Water System Regulation and Fee Amendment Bylaw number 6 be read a first, second, and third time.
Mover, Director Doyle, second, Director Wilkes. Discussion. Let's vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion is carried. Same item continued. The bylaw 2994, Elko Community Water System Regulation and Fee Amendment Bylaw number 6 be adopted.
Moved, Director Doyle, second, Director Sturzer. Any discussion? Let's vote.
The vote is open. The vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next section is 11, Planning Bylaws. First item is 11.1. That bylaw number 2985, Electoral Area E Zoning and Floodplain Management Amendment, bylaw number 26, Meadowbrook Seafried, be read a first and second time.
Mover. Director Walter moves, Director Sturzer seconds. Discussion. Let's go to vote.
Vote is open. And the vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next item is 11.2. That a public hearing be held regarding bylaw 2985 and the hearing be delegated to Director Jane Walter and Director Don McCormick.
Mover. Director Walter moves, Director Reinhardt seconds. Discussion. Okay, let's
Chair.
vote.
Chair?
Yes. Oh, sorry, Director McCormick, go ahead.
Yeah, I would request that per the discussion we had yesterday, that there's a formal communication that goes out to the Meadowbrook Association prior to this public hearing. If we don't, it's going to be a bit of a gong show. So I think it's important that you know, that we specify exactly what the process is, what our position is in writing. It would just make things a lot easier.
I think so, and I'm very pleased to see Director Walter step up and, you know, put that in her name as director as well. And I don't mind co-chairing or signing if necessary. Through you to Director Walter, had you planned to have that letter prepared before the public hearing? Of course, we don't know when we can have the public hearing at this time, but what was your thoughts? Yeah, we're hearing. So yes, thanks, Director McCormick. We'll see that happens. And maybe after we vote, I'll see if there's an update on public hearings, because we were supposed to hear something from the province. So let's go to vote. I think the vote's open for you on the public hearing.
Closing the vote. Director Graham, the system has not registered your vote. Would you like to tell me verbally? Oh, never mind. I have it now. It was just delayed. Thank you.
Yeah, I was just spinning there. I got it in.
Thank you. We have 15 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion carries.
And thank you. Manager McLeod, have you heard anything on the government providing some guidance on public hearings at this point?
The last I heard that there was supposed to be an announcement this week regarding the potential to hold public hearings electronically, but I haven't seen anything.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so we're still kind of wondering when we're going to move forward with our public hearings, or we'll figure it out. Okay.
The next item is 11.3. Bylaw number 2986. Steamboat Jubilee Mountain Official Community Plan Amendment Bylaw 14, Edgewater Loutrip, be read a first and second time.
Need a mover, please? Director Klobuchar, Director Sturzer seconds. Any discussion? Okay, let's go to vote.
The vote is open. The vote is closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next item is 11.4. Bylaw number 2987, Upper Columbia Valley Zoning Amendment Bylaw number 360, Edgewater Loutrip, be read a first and second time.
Moved by Director Klobuchar, second. Director Miller, discussion. Let's go to vote.
And the vote is open. Vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next item is 11.5. That a public hearing be held regarding bylaw 2986 and 2987, and the hearing be delegated to Directors Jerry Wilkie, Susan Klobuchar, and Clara Reinhardt.
Moved by Director Sturzer, second Director Klobuchar. Any discussion? Let's vote.
Vote is open. Vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next item is 11.6. That bylaw number 2988, Upper Columbia Valley Zoning Amendment, bylaw number 361, Windermere North Prairie Wind Development Corp. Be read a first and second time.
Moved by Director Miller, second Director McCormick. Discussion. And being heard, let's go to vote.
The vote is open. The vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next item is 11.7. That a public hearing be held regarding bylaw 2988, and the hearing be delegated to Directors Jerry Wilkie, Susan Klobuchar, and Alan Miller.
Moved by Director Sturzer, second Director Klobuchar. Any discussion? Let's vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. The motion carries. Next item is 11.8. The bylaw number 2989, Fairmont Hot Springs and Columbia Lake Area Official Community Plan, Amendment bylaw number 6, Fairmont Martin, be read a first and second time.
Director Sturzer moved, Director Klobuchar seconds. Discussion. Time to vote.
The vote is open. The vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Item 11.9. The bylaw number 2990, Upper Columbia Valley Zoning Amendment, bylaw number 362, Fairmont Martin, be read a first and second time.
My mover is Director Klobuchar. Second is Director Wilkes. Thank you. Any more discussion? Time to vote.
The vote is open. And the vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries. Next item is 11.10. That a public hearing be held regarding bylaw 2989 and bylaw 2990, and the hearing be delegated to Directors Susan Klobuchar and Jerry Wilkie.
Moved by Director Sturzer, Director Klobuchar seconds. Any discussion? Let's vote.
The vote's open. The vote is now closed. 15 in favor, 0 opposed. Motion carries.
Okay, Directors, it's on my clock, 10 o'clock, so let's take a 10-minute break and we'll come back with the Director's report. I did want to thank everybody for their effort on planning yesterday. You know, we're still seeing lots of activity in planning, and by doing our business, we're allowing people to get on with housing construction and subdivisions and create some employment in our area. So I'm glad to see that the community is still forging ahead with like that. So back at 10 after 10, that works. Thank you.
Is the report from directors the only thing between now and the hospital meeting?
We will have close, but there's only one item on close, so I'm expecting that won't take too long.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, we'll have to get out and phone back in for the close, so that might take a second.
Doing the community initiatives was different. Gordon Olson, I guess, got stuck listening to music. So I think there's a question there that I'm not too sure because I haven't done it yet. Yeah, because we did a teleconference call, through Zoom. And I think he put himself into that holding room. And then it didn't go through. So. To me, it worked quite well, other than, but it worked out well because Gordon nor Doug were there. All the Crown things got through, because normally they're the ones that talk everybody out of it. So I know how to hold a good meeting now, but make sure they can't get in.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah, I know, I'm told.
Thanks.
Claire.
Yes,
Maybe pass on to your hubby, you know, you're on that RCMP mates thing.
Yeah.
One for commissioned officers only.
no way.
And
But remember, it's me that's on, not him.
no, it doesn't matter. As long as you register his commissioned officer number, they confirm it. I was talking to Brent Taylor the other day because I was just looking at it and he said, no, we have to, it can be a commissioned officer or a warrant officer, but you have to submit your number.
But feels like I'm in the right place right now. I'm finding people we know.
Yeah, it's quite cool, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
I had fun the other night with the regimental numbers because he's not interested, but he's listening as I'm scrolling through them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's quite interesting.
We're going to have a lot of public hearings back to back. We'll have like days worth of public hearings at this rate.
Well, normally they do them back to back because some people, like more people show up to than others, right?
Yeah. Hey, Carl, we should, Columbia, I'm wondering if the Columbia Valley should investigate have a look at the Elk Valley model for victim services.
Yeah, Susan, it's not a bad idea. I think that sometimes reinventing the wheel is not what we need, and I'd be all for that.
Yeah, I'll bring it up in my director's report, but I just thought it might be a worthwhile discussion.
Sounds good.
I missed that. What's worthwhile?
Oh, we're gonna get you. We've assigned you a duty.
Awesome. As long as it doesn't involve public speaking, I'm good.
You just said if Director McCormick's gonna invite us all for lunch and take us out for drinks in Kimberley, it's worthwhile.
That's right. A tour of the Platzel.
Cool. You know, it's funny. The Platzel has just got an amazing spit and polish on it right now. With nobody down there, the crews were able to get equipment in, fire hoses out. They washed everything down. It looks awesome, and there's nobody there. And nobody's home.
Hopefully that will change soon.
Well, did you hear yesterday the Alberta plan for reopening?
Yeah, that's aggressive.
Well, it is. And the thing that bothers me the most is that if BC doesn't mirror what they're doing, it's going to cause us a lot of grief.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now, I think it's time to, start squeaking the door open, for a number of things. But I'm waiting anxiously to hear what Dix and Henry have to say.
Yeah, I was hoping that we would see their plan today, but I don't think we're going to, based on what the Premier said the other day.
No, it sounds like next week sometime.
Yeah.
Although with what Alberta has had to say, it may put a little bit of pressure on, and we may see it sooner next week than later.
Yeah.
Which would be good.
Can you hear me, Director Wilkie calling?
Yes.
The last 15 minutes of the board meeting, I couldn't speak. My mute wasn't working. So, can I be heard now?
Indeed, yes, you are. We hear you now.
We can all hear you, Jerry.
I just want to check. I turned on a different phone. I'm still heard.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Jerry, had you wanted to make comment on that Lottrop item?
Well, no, it's okay. I was going to comment on two items. One was the Prairie Wind thing, and just comment that it at the moment it is controversial and so forth, and I'm pleased that it's going to public hearing. So.
Yeah, I think for both those items, you'll be able to catch them on the backside, Director Wilkie, on the public hearings. I agree. I think there's going to be some public discussion.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how the public hearing is going to work. I have no problems at our end, but I'm really concerned about the public.
Yeah, and I know we've discussed it here. I think we sort of know, we all know which ones are probably going to bring more than 10 people out. And I think, say something in Jaffrey or Wausau where you have big halls, we could put people one per row if we have to, and we have our physical distancing and still advertise it correctly and everything. But for the ones like the Prairie one, I think you're going to see a larger turnout, and how do we do that? So if we can get some direction from the province, I think we'll be in a lot better shape.
Good.
We're getting backlogged a little bit here, so we'll have to do something. Right. Are we ready to re-adjourn? Is everybody back? I'm seeing most people, and I
just need some advice here, because if my mute is not working, then Larry Duchek told me I should be turning it off. So.
Well, I don't know.
Just leave it the way it is.
I think so. Yeah.
Jerry, if you go *6 on your phone, that should mute it.
Yeah, but what was happening is each time I would do that, I would get a computer voice saying I was muted or unmuted, and all of a sudden there's no computer voice anymore.
Yeah, but you can try it to see. Just you're on there now. Go *6. See if it cut you out.
And come back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll call this meeting back to order, and we're going to start with the director's report. So this time, Director Klovchuk to lead off.
Thank you, Chair. And nice to see everybody. It'd be much nicer to see you actually in person, but here we are in these challenging times. And thank you to staff for all the extra work that they have to deal with in managing these meetings. So a couple of things that we're really watching Cold Spring Creek, making sure that we don't get some flooding there. And I know Brian and his team are on that as well. And the Columbia Valley Airport Society is moving forward. They're doing lots of good work. It's quite impressive, the volunteerism that's happening on that front. And I'm hoping that we may even see their package to the board or potentially in July. So they're just working through some challenging issues to get their governance model in place. And I would like to, at some point, I'd like to bring up a couple of conversations in board meetings going forward or committee meetings going forward around short-term rentals. I think having a policy is going to be critical around the recovery, enabling our commercial hotels and accommodators the opportunity to recover from COVID-19. It's been such a huge impact on them. I think we need to step up our policy making around the short-term rentals. And I hope as many of you know, I formed an ad hoc committee and hope to have a report on that to staff later in this month. And that is basically it. Oh, and Elk Valley too. I'd be really curious. I think we should have a discussion about victim services and the model that Elk Valley does, and if that's something that's transferable that we can do similarly in the Columbia Valley or throughout the regional district. And that's me. Thank you.
Yeah, certainly. And Manager Moscow is fully cognizant of that one. So if you needed to set up a meeting, I'm sure she could fill you in.
Great, thank you.
Just for your interest on the airport, I don't know if you get the Northern Development Trust newsletter, but yesterday announced financial help for a number of community airports. Vanderhoof, I think, was one of them. So So it's not uncommon for government or at least the trust to help a little bit with these airports in these days. Good, thank you. Director Doyle.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yes, good to see everybody, and like say in person, be considerably better. And big shout out to staff and all the work they're doing behind the scenes is to make this work. So it's thank you, everybody. And first on the list, Columbia River Treaty. It's moving ahead. They haven't scheduled their next round of negotiations. They did their 9th round, and they haven't scheduled anything further. But they're still talking behind the scenes, and we're patiently waiting this WEIR project from the Ministry of Mines Energy that they're going to release on Kukanusa on the 49th parallel. Then we can have some public comment on after that, but it's not released yet, so there's a few holdups, but it's on the way. And the other big shout out is to the campgrounds out in the Kukanusa Rec Strategy area, and it's amazing. They approached MLA Spitka and myself, and they wanted some direction on what to do. They're the ones that asked. There was a solid group of them asking what to do. So we had an online meeting. There was 18 campgrounds on there that all of them are represented, and it was a great meeting. We had agreed to close the private campgrounds till May 19th after the long weekend, and that was the general wish of those campground owners. And we made it quite clear to them that we're not telling them how to run their business or anything like that. That was their wish that somebody take the lead and give us that give them that kind of direction. So it went well, and there's a few not in compliance, but neither here or there. It's still a big win when you can get the vast majority into compliance on that, just to slow, the whole thing down a little bit here till we get some better direction. So thank you to them. The other one I want to bring up, I think the rural directors or some of the municipal ones, because some have fiber in their communities, but we got this Jaffrey Baines Lake build out, and it's been held up over a year now, thanks to TELUS. And the bill costs have just doubled on there. They've gone from 400 to 800,000, and that would be a discussion in the committee to what that means. But it's crazy to be held ransom by these large telcos out there. That we're trying to get rural broadband out here, and we're in a situation now where we got essential service. It's an essential service on how to operate within this country, and we're still held to ransom that we don't have proper broadband service into our homes, basically fiber to the home. So I want to throw it out there that we should start a committee there. Some people are interested, and we can work with staff or whatever on it to have a look, because there's a lot of other ways to get those services out there without relying on those large carriers and the federal government, because they put the money out there and then the projects get held up. It's a huge conversation, but I'd be interested in helping with that, move that ahead, and because it's listed under essential services. So anybody that's interested, and we can talk with the staff over that, but I think that's a direction we should move in. And it's about all I got now, but I just thank everybody for all the work you're doing in your communities, and let's stay with it. Thanks.
Thank you, Director. Director Graham.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back into somewhat of a routine, and hopefully we see those steps rolled out here soon. And I guess a big thing too is making sure that we're supporting our local businesses, because they're definitely hurting in these times. And I definitely am participating in a few takeout Tuesdays or takeout Wednesdays or even takeout Fridays. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing everybody again, hopefully face to face at the next meeting. And that's all I have to report.
Thank you very much. And I agree with you. I've been doing the takeout thing myself. Director McCormick.
Thank you, Chair. I'm not sure how many saw the press release that came out from CBT this past week with regard to the agricultural initiative. Show of hands if you have seen that. a couple of you. So CDT, as you heard last month, have put in place not so much an aid package as much as a program to supply mostly cash flow based loans to basin business. There was $2.5 million that had been allocated to that, and to date, about 1.5 million has been allocated. So there's still about $1 million that has not been allocated. And so what CDT have been doing over the past month is looking for gaps in the program, and the agricultural community was recognized as a gap that either doesn't qualify for or is not eligible for a lot of the federal or provincial aid. So CDT has brought out two programs. One is a basin food producer loan, and the other one is a basin food producer wage subsidy. So on the loan side of things, what this is meant to do is provide again 2% interest loans to food producers, to food producers in the basin. Now, this loan is for both working capital as well as equipment. So for those that are looking to invest and move forward as we come out of this pandemic, this is going to present an excellent opportunity. I was blown away by the fact that there are as many as 1,300 food producers in the Columbia Basin. Now, appreciate that most of these are very small producers, but at the end of the day, these are producers that are looking to produce a livelihood from agriculture. And these are definitely tough times for a lot of these folks. So this program is I think, going to be fairly well received. In addition, there is a basin food producer wage subsidy that will provide 75% wage subsidy up to $15 an hour to a maximum of $10,000 per producer. And there's some eligibility requirement here, but the goal is to provide this money to food producers that are looking to increase food production and are hiring more people than they had before the pandemic closed. And there are quite a number of folks that fall into that category. So again, CDT always looking for gaps and opportunities to support business in the basin. And this money is going to come from the Columbia Basin Development Corp, as well as the Impact Investment Fund. So some great news in support of our food producers here in the basin by CDT. That's it for me.
Great, thank you. Very good news as well. We'll get that message out as we meet our fellow food producers. Director McCarricker.
Thank you, Chair. First, I want to congratulate Director Doyle and our MLA, Tom Shapitka, for the hard work they've done in the Kookanusa area. As he said, working with the campgrounds, I know there's one ostriches is not applying, but that's okay. At least we got the rest of them. I want to congratulate Manager Patterson and his recycle team for the work that they've done. I wasn't a real believer, I got to tell you that, but I took part last week, and I took 2 boxes of recycle to the recycle transfer station and 1 garbage bag in my bin for the garbage Thursday. So congratulations, guys, and you got me hooked. Just got to figure it out how to sort it out at home. And I want to thank the team who put these meetings together. I know they work hard in the background, and so thank you very much. I appreciate that. And that's all from me. Thanks.
Thank you very much. Director Miller.
Yes, thank you, Chair. And certainly I too echo some of the previous comments to staff. It's been very good with all this technology, and as late as yesterday, I had to have our Manager Duchek help me out getting some last minute instruction sent to me because my mayor's email decided to crash on me too. So at any rate, thanks to all the staff for what they're doing. The district is working with the Shuswap continually on with the SETI group, and that's in our active transportation that we announced. And so it's going to be quite a project actually moving forward, right down to possibly a depending on finance and everything else and at the end of the day, but certainly the plans are pretty extensive, from running the active transportation route from downtown Invermere right through across a secondary crossing across the river and onwards with the help of greenways towards Radium is the sort of the direction that we're planning, and so that should be quite good. As a council, we're working at ways to support our businesses and homeowners who are having some financial issues. We're adjusting our taxation rates to later dates so that they've got just a little bit more time. Our messaging is still going out, still quite active with messaging with our visitors, trying to ask them to do the right thing and stay in place. And that goes for everybody, BC, Alberta, going both directions. But we're also trying to get into that messaging that kindness is needed. We're starting to find in our area where there's both sides, but certainly from a local standpoint, we've been holding people back for so long. They're getting frustrated, and some of the things that have been happening in town and around the valley haven't been the nicest towards our visitor population. And so really trying to emphasize now on kindness and being nice and doing the right things. So I think that's everything for right now. I'll let it go at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Director Miller. And I think for all of us, the good news this morning I heard is the Calgary Health has allowed them to open their golf courses. I'm not sure if it's tomorrow, but sometime in the next day or two. So that'll take a little pressure off some of the non-essential travel. Director Pratt.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot to report other than, everything else. Everybody's going through the same thing, and I appreciate all the help that all our staff are doing. And it's really been trying my patience, but I'll get through it. But other than that, I'm really concerned with the business community. So I'll echo Director Graham's comments about help your local businesses, shop local, and especially when they start opening up, please go support them. They're going to need it for sure. So other than that, I guess we'll just carry on and see when we get out of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Director Gleitz, are you with us?
I am, thank you. I apologize for jumping in late. I think we're all sort of moving through that friction of the suspension and how long we've been in this position for. We're starting to see some of our businesses reanimate. I've formed a economic recovery task force here in Fernie with 9 stakeholders and myself, and we really represent across the broad spectrum of our tourism industry right now. So really useful. The immediate goals when you form one of these task forces is to support each other in reanimation. And so we're very keenly aware that some of the businesses in our community that are going to be owning the most risk are restaurants. And so how and when they open up is going to be very scary for them, because having their restaurant name associated with a COVID outbreak will last forever. And so all of us in our communities in our region, our brand identity right now is that we've been relatively safe and we haven't had a big COVID outbreak. So the risk to us as a tourist area is that we reanimate in the next 2 months without supporting some of those young businesses to do it safely. And then we get known as a COVID outbreak area. So one of our immediate goals with this task force is to have, by design, the people that are on that task force are very seasoned in what they do, either as restaurateurs or hotel accommodators, and then allowing them to be mentors to some young entrepreneurs to say, hey, if you don't have the resources, we're here as a team to help you find a safe procedure and policy. And we'll be working through a variety of goals in the short term. I'd be really interested to talk to, Clara and Al and Stan on the May long weekend strategies, and if we're going to have some sort of messaging going out. Our community feels very nervous about May long weekend, and it's moving through that friction of people want to get back at it and get back to work because they're losing buckets of money. However, moving too fast feels really, really vulnerable. And so I've certainly been asked by my business committee yesterday on our conference call about another wave of targeted messaging about May long weekend, asking people to do the right thing. And yeah, our council is virtual, as is all of yours. And we're all doing the best we can with this crazy Zoom technology. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but at least we can have a laugh. So I really appreciate all of us on this call right now. And we're still teasing each other. So that means we must be doing all right, right? So thank you. That's it for me.
Thank you very much. Director Reinhardt.
Thank you. I appreciate all the comments from everyone who's spoken already. Couple things. I think I reported that construction was moving forward on the roundabout, and I got an update this week. So they've made some changes to the RFP, and so it only closed this week. So work start should be that first week in June. And then they're going great guns, and they're not anticipating being ready till the beginning of December. So when it'll be all over, but definitely still in time for that first full diversion from Highway 1. We had some interesting excitement last weekend. You know, many of us have on our councils young business people, and Ange is quite aware of what's going on, and a few of you reached out. One of our councillors, in order to qualify for some of the federal funding, found that there was fine print that said you couldn't qualify if you were a government official. And working, he put out a video on Facebook, and working with our representative from FCM, Leah Main, we were able to get that pushed forward. Last weekend, they worked all weekend, and by Monday morning, we had a letter from the ministry indicating that there would be clarification on their website, and that their intent really was only for MPs and senators. But of course, that's not how CRA and everyone else took it. So very happy that there's not going to be a rash of by-elections in, for sure, in the AKBLG. We identified at least 6 councillors that were in the same position. So it was actually kind of a big deal. Further to the comments from Mayor Miller and Mayor Kolitsa regarding some of the sentiment by some of our folks in the Valley, there is an emergency meeting this afternoon with the elected people and the 2 chambers to come up with some messaging to remind people that people are allowed to travel. They have to have a reason, but we have kids coming home from university because they've been kicked out of their dorms and they have Alberta plates and they're getting harassed. That's just ridiculous. And that messaging has to stop. People work back and forth. There's just all kinds of reasons why people might be coming. And if they're going straight to wherever they live and following the rules, we need to be respectful. I'm just quite appalled at some of the behavior. So hoping we can get through that. I think that there are people that are behaving that way who normally just wouldn't even consider it. I think I heard someone say the cracks are starting to show. It's starting to wear people down. And, you know, we just have to, I guess, acknowledge that and be supportive of each other. And, you know, our grandkids might remember that, but we'll sure remember to tell our kids about it and remind them, because this is the first time most of our kids have been through something kind of hard. And, you know, that generation just wasn't prepared for that. And I'm finding it really interesting. Anyway, I'm rambling. I hope you all have a good month.
Thank you very much, Director. Director Sosnowski.
Yes, I don't have much to say. Echo everybody with our staff working through this. I'd like to thank Brian. You're right there on the screen, Brian, for putting up with my frustration on with DFO. They're being just bears to deal with, and I'm frustrated. I can't imagine how frustrated you guys are, but we might be making some headway. I'd like to say that I think it's just fear. You know, people who are acting ignorant to other people, the fear is a crazy thing to deal with. And when I see people jumping back in the grocery store, you meet them on a corner and they just jump back like you're, you know, It's just fear, and I don't have that fear. I'm sure God I'm not. I hope everybody has a good month, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Director. Director Sturzer.
Thanks to everybody at the board level, and thanks staff. Again, I echo those sentiments. You guys are always the quintessential professionals helping us with all our little pings and pangs, so it's very much appreciated. A few things to announce. Canal Flats has been on this crazy journey since 2016, since our CAN4 operation shut down. And like all communities, we've had our peaks and valleys. It's been a real roller coaster ride, but it's been on a progressive trajectory to the stars. A lot of really amazing things are happening, and a lot of really incredible things have happened. We have been really proactive as a council and our staff to make those things happen. And our trade partners in town have been really important in this process as well. We will, by next board meeting, have some very exciting things to announce for Canal Flats. There's a lot of things in the works right now that is taking a lot of extra time. And so I'm really happy for that. And I really want to share that with everybody. On the negative side, COVID has hit us not in a direct way in Canal Flats, but indirectly in that the bid fabrication shop has shut down at this time in Canal Flats. There is an indefinite shutdown. This, as it is the youngest company in the fleet of bid. And, if someone had to go, we were the ones on the list. The positive side of that is Iris Energy has been doing incredible. They are far in advance of where they thought they would be. They're in the middle of building out pods 3 and 4 right now. And they have a lot of pods, apparently contracts to ship internationally. So they are going to assimilate a large number of those people that are working in the bids capacity. And further to that, Brian Fair has gone ahead and he has formulated another company that is assimilating the rest of that staff. And I was just talking to Brian earlier today, and he said that they've already acquired 500,000 pounds of fabrication steel work as of today. So it's a continual ebb and flow in our community, but the real truth and the positive side of things are we have a lot of good things to share shortly. So thank you, everybody. I hope everybody stays well, has an excellent month, and we move forward in positive ways. Thanks.
Thank you, Director. Director Walter.
Thank you. So I have had a couple of tailgate meetings, which has always been interesting. I find that I actually like them better than being in a hall, but I'm more of an outdoor person. The increased travel on our rural roads has been twofold. I imagine it's because the city people are going stir crazy locked up in the city. When you look at the traffic going anywhere, it's continuous anymore. We've had more RCMP doing stuff in Area E than we usually have for the whole year, so it's sort of not a good play for that part. I want to say that Laurie and Nathan has done a fantastic job. I hear from people all the time about Laurie's cute stories and how they bring such a laugh and a chuckle for them. I also appreciate all the work that all the staff have done. It's amazing what they have to go through to just do little meetings for the APC and that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Walter. Director Wilkie.
Yes, can I be
there you
heard
go.
now?
Yep.
I've been having
Yes,
some
you
phone
can.
trouble. Okay.
Go ahead, Jerry.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank Manager Muskel and her staff for seeing us through the Columbia Basin Trust Community Initiatives program so smoothly. It's a very, very important program for many organizations in our communities, and it really went well despite all the technological difficulties. So thank you very much. And again, just to all the RDEK staff, I very, very much appreciate. I'm a little bit challenged technologically, and I have been helped so much by the staff, and really appreciate that. Just a couple of things, announcements regarding a couple of our communities in Edgewater. The Edgewater Recreation Society, who have done a tremendous job on restoring and rebuilding the outdoor rink, have just recently been given a further major grant to put a roof over it. So there's a lot of celebration about that. And secondly, I wanted to commend the community of Wilmer, who have been working on the Fire Smart program. They've been very, very progressive. I'd like to take their template and put it into Edgewater and other communities. So congratulations to them. And I think just for the director's information, the Columbia Valley Recreational Access Management Plan is continuing. It's very difficult because of the large disparate membership to convene it, but the contractors I think have done a good job so far. So we're hoping that we'll be able to convene the second meeting soon and carry the momentum forward. I think that's about it. I just to the Columbia Valley directors, I think in the near future, we had a discussion yesterday about our economic development officer's contract, and I'm sort of looking forward to a bit of a refocus of our committee, and I think instead of economic development, it should be looking at social and economic recovery. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, Director. Director Wilkes.
Thanks. Just one thing, the Mayors and Chairs Highway 3 Committee, we're going to try and do a virtual meeting on May 21st. Everyone involved should have got an email. If you haven't, let me know, and we'll send it back out to you. We're going to try rather shooting for a 12 until 2 o'clock meeting or a 3 until 5 Mountain Daylight Time. So there's a doodle, whatever they call that, doodle thingy going on with Mayor Moore from Roslyn. If you could complete that, really appreciate it. And again, May 21st, which is a Thursday, I believe, and it'll be a virtual meeting. Thanks.
Okay, thank you very much. So my report, I kind of should thank the board, I guess. We all passed a motion on April 4th talking about closing the Alberta border. That really got the media's attention. I think I was on no less than 7 radio stations, a couple of TV stations, and a number of phone interviews. So anyway, the message was solid, and again, I'd like to really thank Manager Duchek for her guidance and her support get me through that. So I think our point was well made, and we didn't get our way, but I think we were, as I mentioned in a few notes to you, we did get some wins. Our CEO and I know a number of you continue to join the Minister Roberts' call on a weekly issue, and I do highlight emails our key issues to the Minister and her staff, and we'll do that again next week. UBCM has reached out to us for a second time. Initially, the UBCM staff was collecting information on the financial issues, and as we all know, a financial package was provided by the Ministry of Municipal Affairs. A second reach out was earlier this week, and now what they're trying to do is talk about a stimulus funding package for us. And it's not so much money as the current ideas around ensuring flexibility and timelines within our existing programs, supporting claims, our reporting, just letting us get on with our work. So I had quite a good discussion about how we are putting a lot of attention to COVID, which we need to, and our priority list is going to suffer because of that. And you know, one of the things we'd like to do is be able to expand our capacity somewhat. And one of the things in the community works funds that we at the regional district, and I'm not sure at the municipalities, but we have struggled with, is that money that we've got around building capacity. And so it would be very helpful, and I spoke with UBC, is to get some clearer direction, because they certainly see that fund as something that we can use for planning. So we haven't seen that officially yet, but that's just some of the discussion. So again, very thankful that they reach out and look for our input, and I've been quite willing to provide them some and some backup support material. I also initiated a tri-regional conference call for the chairs and vice chairs of the 3 regional districts in the Kootenays. We don't involve the staff, we're not really making decisions, but we share information and talk about emerging issues, both in the social, economic, and environmental areas, and you know, the impacts on the orders that we're all trying to deal with. So one of the things that we are trying to collect, and I'm glad Director Kalitsa brought it out, and I know others in the Columbia Valley, Cranbrook, Kimberley, are looking at economic development groups to look at, you know, task forces on how to get your economy started at the local level. And we've had that discussion sort of at the regional level as well, and we're not quite ready, but we will be approaching the Columbia Basin Trust, and I think there's probably some needs there. We haven't identified it all, but I certainly would like to make sure, you know, we'll talk to Director McCormick and others within the regional districts, the directors, about what we're going to face. And you know, we don't want to take 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back. If we go 1 step back, we're all right. So it's a fine line, and I think we as elected officials know that, and we need to continue to show the leadership. Coming this month, I've got a Recycle BZ Provincial Advisory Committee, of course, on conference call. We're going to try to reinvigorate the Regional Broadband Committee, because what we are finding is our focus has been for the many years on providing rural broadband, because we felt our communities are well covered. But as we found out just in this meeting today, even our cities, Dr. Kalitsa was cut out. We've seen people, Dr. McCormick couldn't vote a few times. So I think we've taxed what we've got for broadband to the limit, and we're seeing, you know, little breaks in it. So something that we need to look at as a broadband committee. Can we bring some additional help to our region? So we'll do that. UBCM, I sit on their finance committee. I'm not sure where we're going with that, but we're going to have a meeting. And then last of all, I just want to talk about directors' needs, because I know it's somewhat difficult working from home. If there's anything that I can do for you or influence staff to do on your behalf, my door is always open. I'm not going anywhere. Give me a call. And what my view is, and I think we can come out of this as a regional district. We were strong going into the pandemic, and I think we can come out at least as strong as we were and stronger. So that's always sort of my motivation, is to say, folks, we can get through it. We're all seasoned. We work well together, and I think we can move together. So that's really my vision. But if there's some parts of that I can help, certainly do that. CEO Tomlin, anything before we go to close? Go ahead.
Sure. Yeah, just thanks everyone for your words of appreciation for staff. Certainly everybody is working really hard to try and adjust our methods through this and keep everything running smoothly as we can. So appreciate that, and thank you to the board for your flexibility and patience and support as we work through all of that. And also just a reminder, the policy group meeting that we're trying to schedule for next week that we talked about yesterday, the doodle poll is still out. So for anyone who hasn't had a chance to respond to that, the electoral area directors directly and for municipal directors, if you could coordinate with your CAOs to make sure we got responses on that, and we'll get a date selected and time that hopefully will work for as many people as possible. And as far as the closed meeting, that invite came out yesterday from my email. So hopefully everybody has the invite for that Zoom meeting.
Okay, thank you. And directors, anything anybody forgot? Director McCormick and then Director Doyle, I think, would have a few more words. Go ahead, Director McCormick first.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you, Chair. As we're going around the table and talking about COVID impacts and things, it reminded me of something that I was going to bring up earlier, and that is this term "new normal." We're seeing it used an awful lot. But I have a problem with how it's being used. It's being used in more of a negative connotation. In other words, things are going to be different, you know, and nothing is going to be the same. And I look at it a little bit differently. I think if all of us kind of took a really close look in the mirror, there are many things that we were doing where normal is really a synonym for rut. Doing things the same way and not necessarily seeing how you can get out of that and move things forward, change things in a way that are very positive. I think in our business communities, we're seeing a lot of pivots by businesses that are motivated by certainly fear of bankruptcy and a lot of negative things, and they're turning that into some incredibly creative ways to keep the doors open. New normal, I think, is a very positive thing, and I think it's important for us as leaders in the community to look at it exactly that way, and to look at new ways of getting things done and turn them into very positive outcomes. Thank you.
Good observation. Director Doyle.
Yeah, just a quick note. It come up during the meeting here, but I just like to thank Manager Moskal on the community initiative funding work she went in, because it was challenging. I went on with my APC and went through it one by one on how to get onto Zoom, and basically a training course we held over the week, and we pulled it off. It went off really good. Actually, we're done in record time. I think it's a format we'd probably use all the time because for that type of meeting, because it did work well. So just thank you to Manager Moskal on that. And Dave, could you send me an email on that May 21st meeting? So thanks. Thank you.
Director McCarricker, and then we're going to go on to closed.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to comment that since your press releases came out, the mayor of the Crow's Nest Pass contacted me and said that I was not allowed to go across the border.
I spoke with him as well. That's good. Okay, we're going to go back to Manager Moskal, and we'll get a motion to go to closed here.
At the meeting adjourned to a closed RDK Board of Directors meeting to consider the following matter. Columbia Valley Economic Development Officer contract under Section 91J of the Community Charter. Information prohibited from disclosure under Section 21 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act.
Moved by Director Sturzer, moved. Second, Director Wilkes. We're going to go further discussion. We're going to go to vote.
The vote's open.
I turned it off, so
Pardon?
So everybody's got a phone back in?
closed already, so I
Yeah, yes, for me, I can't get access.
I'm good.
Yes, for me.
A lot of yeah, hold on. Let me close this, and I'll go through everybody I'm missing. So Director Doyle,
Yeah.
your vote.
Yeah, he's okay.
Director McCormick,
Yeah.
Good to go.
Director McCarricker,
Yes.
Director Miller.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Director Pratt,
Yes.
Director Kulitsa, Director Kulitsa here. I believe she's
Director Klitsa
left. I don't see her. Oh,
stepped out.
okay, marker is absent. Director Reinhardt,
Yep.
Director Sturzer,
Yes.
Director Walter, you said yes? Director Wilkie,
Yes.
and Director Wilkes.
Yep.
Thank you. Vote carries 14 in favor, 1 absent. That's everything.
Okay, well, we're going to go to close, so I guess you have to